Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a long trade here on the S&P. Let me get my sell stop in place here, 5 contracts, and our target is going to be up here. Let's look for 2118 just to front run that level up there. So looking for 2118 all in, all out on this move. The SP500, as well as all of the markets, have been really slow today. I know we're not quite at the open yet, but normally by this point in time we would actually see some movement. So far, that's not really the case. We're actually pretty slow. We're going on 925 here in a couple minutes with the open right around the corner at 930, and as you can see, we really haven't gone anywhere. We've really primarily been stuck in this range from 2115. I would say, around this area, even to 2119. We've been stuck in a 4-point range for 4 hours now. We're just not moving. So because of that, overall, I'm just kind of expecting this market to cycle back and forth. And right now we're coming off the lows, so it's anticipated that we're going to buy it back up to the highs. I'm looking at a little bit more of a conservative target at 2118.5, and that's just because the recent price action kind of tells me that we kind of topped out there. You can see how many times we got stuck in that level and we turned straight off of it. So you could go a little bit farther out and look at a level a little bit higher on 2119. You can see that prices did hold that level quite well, and actually you might even want to go a little bit higher up to 2119 and a quarter. One tick in this case does show that you have all of the support back through here, as well as that finalized test up there. Regardless of how you trade it, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Now, based on what we're seeing here, we can take all in, all out at 2118, or you could do something like taking 3 contracts off there and then front running this one by a little bit and taking the rest off at 2118 and 3/4 and taking 2 off there. So you do have an option in terms of how you want to play this. I kind of like splitting it up a little bit, but primarily the heaviest amount of profit coming off at 2118. And again, you could just stack these up and call it good, just based on the fact that the recent price action kind of dictates the fact that we really held 2118.50 quite well. But it is a possibility that we expand through that level and go a little bit higher. We might even go all the way back up to where we were before at 2119 and 3/4, all the way up to 2120 half. That whole area is kind of the primary objective, if you will, of this move higher. And if you are going to split the targets up, honestly, I would put it a little bit higher. Yeah, we did bounce at 2119 but going for 2119 and 3/4, front running that level up there makes a little bit more sense if you're going to split the targets up, because it's anticipated that on a range day, we're going to try to break those prior levels. You can see we got stuck here, we broke down. Well, if that's the case, then we're going to try to break that prior time that we were up there. So that's kind of the area that you're gunning for. But again, you've got tons of different options here in terms of how you want to manage it. I like splitting it up like this a little bit more. I think it makes a little more sense, especially since the range is so small. Seeing expansions of these ranges, by a couple points even, isn't that unheard of, because we've only gone 4 points on the day, right? So, 2.25 points on the first target. We're taking 3 off there, so that's going to be 27 ticks overall there. And if we can get that final move up and get that final target up here at 2119 and 3/4, that's 4 points, which really is kind of the daily range. But 4 points on 2 contracts off there, that's going to be 32 more ticks. So if we can get everything filled, we're looking at a relatively solid profit overall. I'm not going to complain too much about it, that's for sure. So we're just going to kind of sit on hands and let this thing play out. We're expecting a relatively slow day overall. In terms of the overall profitability, again, 2.25 points at 3 contracts, plus another 8 points. That's 14.75 points total if we get both of those targets filled. So it's 59 ticks overall. So it'll be 737.50 on the trade if we can get them all filled. But really the primary objective is going to be 2118. After that, if it wants to go and really kind of rip roar to the upside, then we can look for more at 2119 and 3/4. But the way that this day is going, this trade is probably going to last somewhere in the range of an hour. That's about the average that we've been seeing on these moves. So I'm not expecting this one to be a quick one by any means. So we'll give it a little bit of time, see if we can get that push up to 2118 and start getting a target filled. All right, we're back. So we tested our first target here right after the open hit, and we're not we didn't get it filled yet, but we are testing it. We're seeing that bullish strength coming right back in again, and with this bullish reaction off of the lows, it's definitely anticipated they're going to try to test these highs at least at 21.1850. Just a matter to kind of see them pull back, and this is kind of what you have to deal with sometimes when it comes to the open, right? The open can be very, very whippy, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Normally, I would move my stop to break even because we tested our target, but this could whip all the way back down and then right back up again. So I'm going to give it the room it needs. It shouldn't break below this level at 21.14 3/4. So my stop down here at 14.5, I will accept the extra risk, even though, I mean, it's only a 1.25 risk. So it's not a huge amount of risk, which is kind of another factor in leaving it on the table. But we tested our target, just need to see it get filled. Once we fill it, there we go. We finally got that fill. Let's move the stop to break even. Now that we've got the target filled, now we can look back up to the upside again. So we've got the target filled without much of a problem. It fluctuated a little bit, but you can see that's kind of what happens at the open. Now with this, let's adjust the stop down a little bit here. 2 more contracts left on the table. Stop is at 21.16, just looking for a little bit more continued movement. We haven't even hit this 21.18 half level. And again, for you conservative folks, you're all in, all out. So you got your profit off right here at 21.18 already filled. I'm looking for a little bit of an expansion up to the highs at 21.19 3/4, just to see if we can get that move going. Right, so that's kind of what we're expecting so far. The fact that we couldn't break out the lows, it's almost a fake break low or a fake out breakout of the bottom side. It's anticipated to see them try to fake out, break out the highs. And the nice thing about this, that fake out on the lows was a point down. So if we fake out the highs here, 21.19 1/4, a point up is 21.20. So, or 21.20 1/4. So our target is only a couple ticks above that. We should be able to get that filled if that's what happens. So everything looking pretty solid. Just got to wait for the trade. This isn't taking as long as I thought it would, honestly. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer. Kind of waiting on the open there, and the open definitely helped. But give it a little bit more time, see if we can push through those highs and start getting our target at 21.19 3/4 to finalize this move. All right, getting that push back up to the highs, and there we go. We've got our target filled, 21.19 3/4. Beautiful, beautiful move up. Overall, it definitely did take a little bit of time. It's kind of what we were concerned about, right? We had that initial move up on the open that worked really, really well, but then, we kind of got stuck with the post-open movement that made it take a little bit longer. So our initial entry here was back before the open, around 9:22 or so. And the first target was hit within, 10 minutes. Nice, easy move. But the second one, we're just now hitting it at 10:10, or going on 10:10, about 5 minutes away from it. But still, the overall move itself, it finally did work out how it was anticipated, but it definitely took its sweet time. And that's just kind of what to expect on a day like today. And what did we do? Well, we broke through the highs. 21.19 1/4 means we should go up to 20.20 1/4. And guess where we turned around at? So the fact that we blew off this low here by a point, it's kind of anticipated that we should blow off the highs by about a point, and that's exactly where it's turning around right now. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to break it by a little bit, but it's very, very interesting how the ES loves doing that kind of measured movement, and it's important to pay attention to that. So we got our profit off ahead of that level by a couple ticks at 21.19 3/4. Beautiful move up. Overall locked in $737.50 on the trade. Overall, it's 59 ticks. So beautiful move. Can't ask for much more than that, especially considering the fact that our final target was the range of the day pretty much at 4 points. So that's going to be the trade. Awesome move. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.